Hi everyone, welcome to our Happy Hips Flow. So when you're ready, we're going to meet in a wide legs child pose. So toes together, knees a little bit apart, and we move the chest all the way down. Maybe you move the hip from side to side. Let's explore. We're just allowing the hip to relax a little bit. Just the chest goes down to the floor. Feel the flexion in the hip, how that feels. Focusing on the breath, maybe sending the breath down to the hips, creating space. Pressing the palms on the floor, and we're going to come forward, move the hip down, open the chest. Don't have to go to a foot cobra, just like moving the hip a little bit lower, creating space in the front of your hip, and then push it all the way back. So small rocks backward and forward. 5, 4, explore your movement, explore your range of motion. 2, and 1. All right. When you push your hip back, move the arms back. So wrist in line with the shoulder, and you're just going to close the knees a little bit. So we're in a tabletop position. We're going to go for a cat and cow, but for today, we're going to focus on the movement of the hip. So moving the hip all the way up to the ceiling, and tucking your pelvis in. Feel free to move along with the shoulder, but just keep your awareness all on the hip. Tuck your pelvis in. Move it all the way up, open. Exhale around the spine, tuck your pelvis in. 2 more, arch. Move the tailbone up to the ceiling. Exhale round, tuck your pelvis in. Last one, open up. And tuck it in. All right, raise the right leg up, point the toes, and big circle with the right leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reverse. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Point the toes up to the ceiling, open, open. Use your glutes to raise the leg as high as you can. And then move the knee all the way to the right side, open up, 90 degree in the leg, and straighten the leg up. We're going to land the right leg all the way on the right toes, and we meet in a half rock. So I'm going to go here, so you can see clearly. Pressing the palms on the floor and pressing the pinky on the floor. Come forward a little bit, rock back and forth. 3. Feeling the stretch in the inner thighs. Allowing the hip to open a little bit. 3, 2, and 1. You're going to hold it back a little bit. Elbows on the floor, and you're going to tuck your pelvis in. If you feel you have more space here, feel free to slide the legs to the side, so widen your stand. Elbows on the floor, and we hold the half rock for a few seconds. But we're holding active, so you're going to hug the inner thighs toward each other. Feel the activation in your inner thighs. Pressing the pinky on the floor. 3, 2. Keep the right elbow on the floor, and we inhale, raise the left hand all the way up, twist and open. See how that feels in the right hip. 3, 2, and 1. Elbow on the floor. You're going to keep the left elbow on the floor, raise the right hand all the way up, open the chest. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Both elbows on the floor. Walk the hands back. And bring the right leg all the way forward, 45. So you're like a modified low lunge. So the knee is in line with the heel for now. And then we're going to start pushing the hip all the way to the right side. So the knee may pass the heel. It may not. It depends on where you're placing the foot. But that's absolutely fine. We just focus on pushing the hip all the way to the right side and bring it back. So you feel the stretch on the right hip and the left hip as well. All the way back, pushing the right side, all the way back. Again, pushing it all the way to the right side and back, pushing it all the right side, and we hold here. 5, keep pushing the knee out to the right side. 3. So if you have a sensitive knee, place some towel or blanket cushion under your knee, left knee. 2. And you're going to push your hip all the way back, flex the toes, and come forward. So the chest stays forward, and you move the arms forward as far as you can. So the stretch here is not only the hamstrings, it's also targeting the inner thighs. 3, 2, and walk the hands back. And you're going to kick the right leg all the way back and meet in a tabletop. Tuck the toes in the back, raise the knees off the floor, hip up to the ceiling, down dog. Bend the knees alternatively in your down dog, move the hip from side to side. And we're going to go for a hip tilt in your down dog. So point the hip up to the ceiling. That's an anterior tilt of your pelvis. And then tuck it in. So it may feel harder than what we did in a cat and cow, but it's very beneficial for your hip mobility. Tilt the hip up and tuck it in. So posterior tilt, anterior tilt. 3 more, posterior and anterior tilt. It may be a very, very small movement, that's absolutely fine. Just think about the movement, that also counts. And up. All right, we lean forward, round the spine, knees on the floor, and we meet again in your tabletop. Left leg goes up, and big circle with the left leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, and reverse it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep the leg up, point the toes up to the ceiling, squeeze your glutes, and then you open the knee all the way to the left side. Straighten the left leg and land the foot on the left side. We're in a half rook again, but on the left side. Again, I'm going to turn around. Press the palms on the floor, and move the hip forward and backward. Keep pressing down. Left pinky on the floor, hugging the inner thighs towards each other. 3, 2, and 1. We hold in the middle, elbows on the floor, but we're going to tuck your pelvis in. So hug the ribs in. Think about moving the pubic bone towards your belly button. If you feel you have more space here, slide the legs to the sides. 3, 2, and keeping the right elbow on the floor, raise the left hand all the way up, open the chest. 5, 4, open, feel the stretch on your right inner thigh and left hip. And we change. Left elbow on the floor, right hand goes all the way up, open the chest. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press the palms on the floor. Walk the hands back. And you're going to bring the left leg forward 45 degrees to the side. All right. So make sure that you're keeping the hip and chest forward, like square to the front. Because if you move the chest and hip to the left side, so you're in a modified, like an angle of a low lunge. But we don't want that. We don't want the leg to be in a 90 degree with a, in a 45 degree with the hip. So you're pushing the hip all the way to the left side. Feel the stretch on the right hip and back. Push it forward and back. Push it forward and back. Push it forward and back. Again to the left side and back to the left side. And we hold here. 5, 4. Keep moving the knee all the way to the left side using the glutes on the left leg. 2. And push your hip back, flex the toes, lean forward like a modified half split, but the leg is not forward, the leg stays in an angle. Walk the hands forward and feel the stretch in your inner thighs along with the hamstrings. Settle into it. Maybe move the hands more forward. Maybe dip the chest a little bit more down. 2. And 1. Walk the hands back toward the right leg in the front. And we meet in a down dog. All right. Walk the legs a little bit wider than the hips, so maybe as wide as your mat. Point the toes 45 degrees to the side and walk the hands back towards your Malasana. So we meet here in Malasana. We're going for a few rounds from a full Malasana to an active squat. So that will work on the big muscles in your legs, your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads. What I want you to do is pressing the heels on the floor and keep the core active, so hugging the ribs in. So hands all the way up, or maybe just straight to your shoulders, coming up to active squat. 5, 4, 3, 2, and squat all the way down. We have 4 more of this. Inhale up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and squat all the way down. If this is too hard, you can also have a block and up. Yeah? 4, 3, 2, and 1. If Malasana is also not accessible, feel free to put the block under your hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the way down. Last one. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Settle down. Walk the hands forward and tuck your chin to the chest. If you want to take a rest here, sit on the block. Keep moving the knees out, so opening the inner thighs and the hips. We're going to explain the coming move while you're resting. We're going for a hip mobility. So the left knee goes down to the floor and open it all the way up. Again, the right knee goes to the floor and open it all the way up. All right. You can also try this. My block. Sitting on the block. So left knee to the floor, open it up. Right knee to the floor, open it up. Same action. Let's go. We have 5 on each leg. Do it together. We start with the left and right. 1. Left and right. 2. Left and right. 3. Left. Whew. And right. 4. Last one. Left and right. 5. Awesome job. Press the palms on the floor and walk the hands forward to your down dog. Shake the legs. Raise the right leg all the way up. Bend the knee on top, open the hip. And the right leg comes in between your hands. We move the left foot 45 and we meet in a warrior 2. Reaching the arms to the sides in your warrior 2. And look toward the right palm. Keep pressing the right heel on the floor and send the right knee back. 3, 2. Lean forward, inhale. As you exhale, reverse your warrior. Create space in the right ribs. 3. Inhale to the center, straighten the right leg, lean toward the right side, and we meet in a triangle. So if you saw, or if you practiced with me before, you can, there's an always option to hold the block in your triangle and push the palm away from the block. Or you go all the way down to the floor. So you go for a few rounds in a fluid movement. Bending the knee, inhale as you exhale, reverse your warrior. Straighten the leg, inhale as you exhale, triangle. 3 more. Bend the knee all the way back, reverse. All the way forward, triangle. Last one, bend the knee, reverse. All the way forward, triangle. Bend the knee, inhale, reverse. And we're straightening both legs. Pivot the heels behind the toes, wide leg forward fold. Point the toes 45 degrees to the side and bend the knees alternatively from side to side. 5, 4, 3, 2, and we meet in the warrior 2 on the left leg. So point the left toes all the way to the left side and rise up to warrior 2. Sending the fingers respectfully to the sides, looking to the left palm, pressing the right pinky on the floor and sending the left knee out. So don't worry of alignment between the knee and the heel. Just think about keeping the knee in line with the big toe if you can. Lean toward the left side, inhale as you exhale, reverse your warrior. Straighten the leg in the front, inhale as you exhale, triangle, go down. And again, we're going to move in a fluid movement. So we're bending the left leg, raise the left hand all the way up and back, reverse your warrior, straighten the left leg, lean forward, triangle. Bend, reverse, and straighten, wing going all the way down. Bend, reverse, and straighten, going all the way down. Last one, bend, reverse, and we meet in a wide leg forward fold, heels behind the toes. All right. Walk the hands forward toward the right leg in the front. Press the palms on the floor, kick the right leg all the way back. Down dog. We're going to raise the left leg up, bend the knee on top, open the hip. And the left foot comes in between your hands, but this time the pinky lands on the floor. So we're not in a low lunge alignment, we're in a active pigeon. So fingertips on the floor and try to sink the hip down. So the knee is not yet on the floor. We're keeping it active for now. Fingertips on the floor. If that's too hard, feel free to move the back knee on the floor, but keep the front knee up, flexing the toes. 5, hold it here. I know it is a little bit challenging, but you can do it. 3, 2, and move the foot all the way to the right side and relaxing in your pigeon. Flex the toes in the front leg. Maybe chest go to the floor. Maybe you just move to the right side. More stretch on the left glutes. See how that feels in the back hip as well. The right hip. All right, we're pressing the palms on the floor, tuck the toes in the back. And going to be hop switch. So we're going to hop and switch. The right leg comes forward. If that's too hard, just like normal switch, don't worry about it. It's just adding some fun to our practice. So we hold in an active position, maybe back knee, the left knee on the floor. 3, 2, and 1. Relax in our pigeon. Feel free to move the right leg a little bit more to the left side, relaxing the left foot. Just relax and surrender for your patient for a few seconds. Pressing the palms on the floor, tuck the toes in the back. All right, we're gonna hop switch again, but we're gonna do it in like 3 rounds. But this time we're gonna hop and switch to lizard. So we're gonna hop, right leg back, left leg comes outside the left hand. Yeah. If that's too hard, again, feel free to walk the legs. Again, we're just moving the hip in a fun like movement, adding some jumps to our practice. So we're gonna hop switch, right leg come forward, left leg is back. 2 more, hop switch, and hop switch. Last one. 1. And the right leg comes forward. Here you go. Left knee goes to the floor. Inhale, raise the right hand all the way up. Open the chest. Option to stay here. Option to hold the back leg. And the knee, hold the ankle. And press the heel toward the glutes. 3. Or just push. Create space in the shoulders. 2. And 1. Press the palms on the floor. And hop switch. Right knee to the floor. Left hand goes all the way up. Open. Maybe hold the back leg. Open the chest. Or pull it closer to the glutes. 2. And pressing the palms on the floor. Keep the right knee on the floor and bring the left knee back next to it. So we're going to end our practice with a frog stretch. We open the knees to the side. I'm pressing the palms on the floor. Don't worry, I'm just moving and changing my orientation so you can see me clearly. So you don't have to do that. Knees to the side. You can keep the palms on the floor. You can grab a block and press the elbows on the floor. Or you can go all the way down on the floor if that's okay with you. I know it's not like really easy pose, and I was always jealous about the people who are able to go all the way down to the floor. But it's not only about the practice, it's about how your bone shape, your bone shapes. How is the femur attached to the hip? It's a lot of like deep anatomy talk. Let's not go there. Just move the hip maybe forward and backward. Explore tucking the pelvis in, like posterior tilt, anterior tilt. All right. We're going to move the knees, move the toes towards each other, walk back, and maybe sit on the heels. If you feel you want to move the knees closer to each other, you can close the knees a little bit. The way that's accessible for you. Moving the hands back, pushing the hip all the way up, squeezing the glutes, looking up to the ceiling. So counter stretch the front of the hip. 3, 2, and push the hip back, lean forward, and we meet in our child pose, like a wide leg child pose. Maybe forehead goes to the floor. Just for a few seconds. Just recover from our frog. And maybe here start to explore and see if you have more range. Like, if you could not reach the heels in the beginning of the practice, maybe now you can sit easily on your heels. Maybe now the chest is closer to the floor. It is all about your body and how it feels, how it adapts to the practice, to the movement. Walking the hands back. Maybe we're closing the knees a little bit. And we have the fingertips pointing backwards. If Again, if this is too hard, you can grab your block, press the palms on the block. That give you more range of motion. Pressing the palms, pushing the hip all the way up, squeezing your glutes, and then come down. So we're activating the glutes, and we are extending the hip flexors in the front. Push the hip all the way up, look up to the ceiling, squeeze your glutes. Exhale all the way down. 4 more, push your hip all the way up, look up to the ceiling. Exhale down. All the way up. And exhale down. 2 more, all the way up, open up. Exhale down. Last one, all the way up, squeeze your glutes, look up to the ceiling. And all the way down. Awesome job. All right. You're gonna end the practice with sitting on the heels or maybe on the block and just reflecting on the practice. See how that feels in the hips. See if you have any like emotional trigger. Our hips are a very sensitive area that holds our depressed emotion. So for a lot of people, hip movement, it's not comfortable, not because only of a physical aspect, it's also because of an emotional aspect. Trying to release all the things that doesn't serve you anymore. The things that you attached to it in the past, and just gets stuck in your hips. So the movement will help you release, will help you to create space to let go unnecessary things that doesn't serve you and welcoming new experiences. Taking a few breaths here. Hands closer to the heart center. And we bow. We touch the thumbs between your eyebrows. Bow to yourself, send yourself gratitude and love for showing up to the practice this morning. And I will leave you to have a wonderful, wonderful day ahead. Namaste.